I know you have heard about government securities, or what we famously call the government bills and bonds, or treasury bills and bonds. Maybe you have invested in them, or maybe you have been planning to invest in them. So today I have done this video so that we can know what they are, how you can be able to actually invest, the risks that are involved in investing in them, and how actually it can help you in building your financial freedom journey. Hi guys, welcome again to another episode of Financial Literacy. My name is Jane Dishu and I'm a financial advisor. So the first thing is to define what is government securities. So government securities, this is where the government goes to its people to borrow money for either infrastructure development, or either to pay their salaries or other expenses they might require, maybe some top-up amount of money. So we have, the government can borrow in two ways. So one of the ways is through the treasury bills, and the other way is through the treasury bonds. So the treasury bills, these are shorter term borrowing. This is where the government is going to come to the people, borrow maybe around 60 billion, and then promise to pay that amount of money either within 30 days or within maybe half a year or maybe a year. So in this particular period, what they're going to do, they're going to maybe give a discount. So they're going to say that for any amount of money that you invest, you get a discount of a certain amount. Rather than paying 100,000, you get like a discount of 5%. That means you pay 95,000. So at the end of the period, the government is going to return your money as 100,000, and the 5,000, that is actually the amount of money that you'll have earned as interest. So for the treasury bills, they are quite short term. So that really means that you're going to get your money in the short run. And now this takes us to the next one, which is the treasury bonds. So the treasury bonds are now the opposite of short term. These are quite longer. So the government is going to borrow money and they're going to return this amount of money. Can be above 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 5 years, even going to 30 years. So these are longer term. And what happens, the government actually declares this interest every year, but they're going to divide it into two. So practically, for example, if you invest like 100,000 Kenya shillings, what you're going to get, if the interest maybe, or coupon, what we call coupon, is maybe 12%, you're going to get around the 12%, but now divided by 2. So that's 12,000, but you receive after every 6 months, 6,000, 6,000 until the end of that particular bond. And then now after the end of the particular bond, you're going to get back the money that you had actually given to the government. So this way is another way of like creating a passive income, because you already know that you're going to get an income after every 6 months, and it's famously used for that reason. So the next thing I want us to discuss is, why do people really invest in this government security, or why are they actually popular? So one of the reasons is because of their safety. This is because they are actually backed up by the government. So they are known as a low risk investment, because at what particular point you can lose your money is in case maybe the government goes into bankruptcy, which in most cases, like the government of Kenya, it's actually not something that can actually happen maybe in some years. It's a developing country, and actually we have quite a stable economy. So the fact that it's a government security, or it's backed by the government, means that your money cannot be lost. The second thing is because it have a stable and predictable interest. So if they give an interest at entry of 2%, no matter how the market is actually performing, you're going to get that stable income, or what we call an interest. So you're going to get a coupon every this time. So it's never going to change. And this most of the time helps for those people who are conservative investors, because most of the time they don't want so much risk. They don't want to be maybe actively checking how the market is fluctuating. And this is why they are actually famous. The third reason is because they actually have better return than most savings accounts. Like for example, if you were to start saving in maybe a bank account, most probably you're going to actually find that you're getting maybe around 4%, but comparatively between the government bills and the government bonds, you're going to get over and above. It can be 11%, it can be 12%, and it goes to the extremes of even 17%. The other reason is because the government securities, they don't have maintenance fee or maybe transaction fee or other hidden charges. So you actually get to save a lot of money as compared to when you are investing in other places where you have to pay maybe a management fee or a transaction fee. And the last reason is diversification of your portfolio. So one of the things when you're coming up with an investment portfolio, one of the things you need to consider is maybe the risk appetite. So if you cannot have a portfolio where you only have high risk investment, you need a breed of all of them. And this is why at some particular point you will consider the government security. As we said, it's a low risk investment, and that means that you're going to have a low risk investment in your profile. So it's actually helping balancing your investment portfolio, and actually it becomes easy for you to actually make sure that you're making more money. So we go now to the most favorite part of this conversation. How do I actually invest in these government securities? So these days, this process have actually been made digital. Before, we would go to Central Bank of Kenya, but these days you can actually be able to do that on your phone. So what you need to do is to download the Down CSD account. This is an application that you can actually download in your Play Store or your Apple Store. And then once you install, you're going to create your credentials. And then once you do that, you are able to actually create a CSD account. This is like a central depository account where you are going to actually manage. So this is actually will need you to have maybe a local bank that you actually use, and that's how you actually create that account. Once you do that, in the application, you can be able to actually see the listed bonds and bills. This is going to give you the options that you're looking for. Or you can actually go to the portal. They always have a listing of the government bills and the bonds, so you already know that what is in the market or what is being auctioned. Once you identify that this is the bond that I want to actually invest in, the process is you're going to actually fill an application in the same application actually, or in the same mobile application. So once you select, you can be able to actually bid, and you can give actually whatever amount of money you want to get. Maybe in case you are choosing a competitive bidding, if it's a non-competitive bidding, you just only input the amount of money that you want to put. After you have done that, you're going to wait for an approval. So once you have placed your bid, you're going to wait for some time, and then you're going to receive an approval of your bid. So most of the time, if they will give an approval on a Thursday, most of the time it will happen on Wednesdays or Thursday. That's when they're going to declare the results. So once they declare the result and they have approved your bid, they're going to provide an account or your reference number, which is actually in the application, and then you can be able to actually now deposit your money directly from your account or from your bank account to the central bank account. So once you have done that, the status of your bid is going to change from pending and it's going to be active, and that's how you are able to invest in bond. So it's a very easy process which you can be able to do it on your own. You don't have to pay someone, or you don't have to go through a broker or something close to that. It's actually something that you can be able to do on your own. We are actually going to go to the frequently asked question to just help us understand better on some of these questions that most people are raising. The first question that I famously get is, do I get tax? A government security tax? And yes, the government bills are taxed, and also we have bonds which are actually taxed. And one of the favorite bond, and most people are going to talk about it, is the infrastructure bond, because it's tax free. And this is the argument about it, because in every time you buy something, the money that is collected from you, or the money that is collected from the things that you buy, goes to the government, and that amount of money is used for infrastructure. So they don't tax you twice, and that's why the infrastructure bonds are actually not taxable. So for this bond, they are quite competitive. Everyone is waiting for them, because anything that doesn't have tax, it means that you're making more money. The other frequently asked question is, can the government change the interest rate on the way? For this question, anytime you place a bid and they accept that particular interest, they are going to declare it. And no, it's not going to change. That is the interest that is going to be there. And this is why most people love the government bonds, because they already know that if I get a bond and it's giving me 14%, I'm going to continue with this particular bond until the end of the time. The other question that most people ask, what is the risk of investing? Do we have any risk in the government securities? And yes, we have risk around government securities. One of the risks is, once you put money in the government's securities, and mostly in the long-term bonds, this interest rate does not change. So if they declare an interest rate of 12% and the market is even performing over and above the 12%, it's not going to change, and it means that your money is not earning the maximum amount of money. The second thing is inflation. Of course, inflation rate is going up, and this means that you are supposed to get into investments that are improving in interest, but now for this government security, it's predetermined. So it means even if the inflation rate rate is actually going up, it actually means that at the end of the day, your money is not growing, it's decreasing in value because you are stuck with that amount of money. The last risk is in case we have instability in the country and our economy goes down, or maybe we go to bankruptcy. At that particular point, you can lose your money, and it's a very rare case when it comes to maybe a developing or a developed country. And this is why quite government securities are a safer way, because we already know that our economy is quite stable, and we already know that we cannot be able to lose our money because our economy is quite stable. And finally, something I want all of us to note is government security is not a get rich quick scheme. This is something that is going to give you gradual returns, and it's a very stable way of cultivating passive income and building your wealth, but it doesn't guarantee you to just move from 0 to 1,000. So you have to be very patient on it. And in case you would want to have a balanced portfolio and also to choose on how maybe to invest in these government securities, make sure to book your consultation so that we can be able to design something that actually is balanced and can actually work for you. Make sure to follow me on my Instagram page to book your free consultation. Thank you.